talk a little bit more about the work that's exhibited in Kortil and to try to explain the process that I used to create the work and to try to explain the meaning of the title of this work. To do so, I will show you some of my earlier artworks that I, in a way, that influenced the work that's shown in Kortil today. I will start with a work that I did for my master's degree in 2018, and as most of Croatian artists at the time, I used the materials that I was comfortable with. I was studying printmaking, so I was doing most of my ideas through etchings or drawings. At that time, I was interested in the idea of creating, let's say, perfect food, food that's a hybrid between animals and vegetables. And I was doing these etchings of, let's say, possible hybrids. At the same time, I was lucky, my mentor started a new subject in association with Container and their curators that opened a broader field for me to see what's possible and what other artists in different countries are doing in the last 20 years, because at the Academy of Fine Art, most of our subjects show artworks, let's say, we stop at the 90s. So it was really eye-opening for me to see what it's possible. And they pushed me to really try and create those hybrids in real life, to create a food that we could try and see where it goes. I decided to do this for my diploma, but if you can probably imagine, I had a bunch of problems how to do it. So I decided to focus mainly on two problems and focus my diploma on, let's say, finding a solution to them. One was how to transform a two-dimensional etching into a three-dimensional object, and the other was how to do it in a different material, how to model it not using traditional materials. And while I was researching this, I found 3D printing. It mainly got rid of one of the problems, that was the material, and the other was still remained, because with 3D modeling you still need to create a model in a 3D modeling software. And I had a limited time of, let's say, 8 months to do this work. So I decided to, at that time, 3D modeling programs were, at least for me who just started learning about them, were a little bit too complex. So I decided to stay in my safe zone. That was drawing and the use of Photoshop. So at that time, I was getting deeper in the learning how a 3D printer works. Most of you probably already know. To 3D print some object, you need to have a model, and you import that model into a slicer that literally sliced your model into thin pieces, individual layers, and the printer prints every layer individual, placing another one on top, creating the whole model. I used this principle of how a 3D printer works to create my own way of 3D modeling individuals models by taking my drawing and imagine it as a 3D model. I started then creating individual layers, drawing them in Photoshop until I got every single layer that I needed to create, in the end, a whole 3D model. I told you earlier that at that time the softwares were a little bit too complex, but the manufacturer saw this need for easier programs and created a program called Tinkercad that was mainly based to target elementary schools. Simple project that gives you the opportunity to play with, let's say, Lego bricks. You have programmed shapes that you can use and stick together. But I use this program because it has a different type of possibility to import the drawings you saw earlier as individual layers. And if you stack everything on top of each other, you get the whole model. This was, in the end, the idea for my master's degree. But as the time goes by, I learned that I wouldn't be able to create everything that I wanted to do at the time. So I changed my idea and started to make simpler shapes for the idea of creating the real food. Yes. In the end, there still wasn't enough to meet the deadline, so I decided to abandon this project of creating, for now, eatable food. And I decided to change the main topic to modular body. For the work, I created a human skeleton in a 3D program software, and in the end, for diploma, I printed this body in an actual size of the human. But later, after my diploma, I wasn't happy that I managed to transform two-dimensional drawings into 3D by using plastic. So later I decided to do another work called DIY 3D printer, in which I tried to create a tutorial for the users to turn a normal paper printer into a 3D printer, using the simple idea of creating your own layers. You already saw earlier, some of the software gives you the opportunity to visualize every single layer. By doing that, you can print out every single layer and by hand cut it out and glue them together to get a whole object. While I was doing this, I found the time to really create the eatable food. In 2020, I created a work called Meat Flour, where I managed to grow tomatoes that had different flavors added to them. I was growing them hydroponically, slowly adding a special mixture of different tastes, and the flour managed to pick them up and add it to their own taste. To make the transformation of the tomato whole, I even used the original part of my diploma work to create shapes, molds in which the flower, the fruit was growing. In the end, I even managed to change the original texture and the taste of the tomato. And that brings us to the exhibition that you can see in Kortul, Flowers That Have Not Bloomed, is the title of the exhibition because I decided to go back to the starting point. In the beginning, I wanted to transform two-dimensional etchings into three-dimensional, but without, how to say it, I didn't want to change the material. I wanted to stay in the field of etchings and print banking. to create a complete three-dimensional object with the help of traditional and modern technology. So again, I had a two-dimensional image that was the starting point. And with the help of 3D printers, I created plates for printing that with the process got, you know what a blind press is. You are pressing, you are trying to get the shape of the plate you are using. So you don't have a visual color print, you only have one, you only get the shape. Did you try the coin trick? You're using, place a coin around the paper, and when you're going with your pen across it, you can make imprint. That's the same, but without the color. I managed to get whole images, whole sculptures with the process of 3D printing and traditional printing. And later, I even managed to place the whole etching on the 3D object that I got using that blind press process. Yeah. And that's it for now. Later, I decided, as I got a 3D object of the original work, I decided to use it as, let's say, a motif, because as I transformed it to a 2D image into a 3D, I got the opportunity to rotate it 360 in the view. So I found a new, let's say, how to say it, visualized points that I used to create a new plate and reproduce the original 2D image in a different way. Yeah. It wasn't the best explanation, but you can ask me. Yeah.
So the 3D sculpture was from the paper, not
yeah.
from the print? Oh, okay.
Is the paper, yeah, it was a relief press. Yeah. So it was, I used fine paper that got wet for 6 hours to a little bit disintegrate the glue in it to get a perfect print from it.
Did you apply
No, the etching was applied first before on the paper and then later again on the 3D object. Yeah.
Can you explain me again what you did with the plant and the tomato? Maybe
Okay.
I missed it. Could you go back to
Yeah.
the slides? What did you do with the tomatoes?
So, yeah.
These are real tomatoes.
Those are real tomatoes that we were trying to grow them so that they would be ready to try them on the exhibition. But the exhibition was in, let's say, bunker. So we needed to have a big source of light, but we couldn't have that, so everything was delayed. We tried this before the exhibition, and we managed to grow tomatoes and change their texture and taste. We added, I added the taste of chicken, and in this one, the taste of strawberry to them.
How did you do that? Putting it in the water?
Yeah, that was not really. It was a mixture of minerals, flavors, yeah, a special mixture that I slowly developed by experimenting. How much? Yeah, this for the exhibition, there's a difference of possibilities to grow them in the water. One is called hydroponic. It uses water that's continuously circulating, and it's pushed with air to get the minerals to the roots of the flower. We started this project in this hydroponic system, but later for the exhibition it was placed in those clear tubes, yeah, just for the style.
And did you harvest some tomatoes?
Yes,
Did they taste like?
yes, yes, they did. For the experiment, I used the cherry tomatoes, the small ones. But later, for the exhibition, we tried to make the normal tomatoes, and they stayed at the green phase because we didn't have enough sunlight. The exhibition was a group exhibition, and next to my work was, the work Cosmopolitan Chicken. Cosmopolitan Chicken, when I forgot the name of the artist, he was breeding chickens from all around the world, trying to make the ultimate chicken that has all the genes of every chicken in the world. And my lamp didn't go so well with the chickens because they couldn't sleep. So we need to make a compromise. 12 hours of sleep, 12 hours of my light. But in the last phase of the growth, the flowers need 24 hours of the light, sunlight. So it was like, okay, this is the phase, and they stay there. I tried 1 year later at home, and I managed to grow again cherry tomatoes with the taste. It's simple. The first one was, you maybe found it on the internet, how to change the color of white roses. Most of the plants are taking water through their roots and evenly circulating through the whole plant. And if you put a little bit of dye, you can change the color of the plant. The same was here. So in exchange of the dye, I used a little, the perfect amount of the flavor. Because if you put the flavor too early, you kill the plant. So it was the right, I needed to find the right amount of everything. Yeah. It's the fifth was right. The fifth try.
In a way, that reminds me of the difference between analog computer and digital computer.
Yeah.
Because here you did not program, but you patched. You physically patched things together. Yeah. Like in an analog modular synthesizer, you produce sounds by having electric devices which you, by cables, you patch them, you distort them. So that it's not no mathematics, it's no programming, no digital code in it. That's interesting. Is it a counter reaction against all this digitization of art?
Well, I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Did you have, of not using computer for this?
No, it was no, not really. It was just. It's funny. I started this. Let's see what I could get. And the curators of container were like, 1 year later, okay, we have an exhibition, in which phase are you? So from there, I needed to step up and produce something. And then it was, okay, let's see how much I can on my own do. This work was right after my diploma, so I didn't have the connections to try to use something different. Later for the work I did for the Zagreb youth salon, I started to work with other people to create like the work called iFood, where I tried to use my own body to feed, in the end, my own food. So, yeah.
How did you do it?
I used blood as a substitute for some amount of proteins and water, and with the help of a surgeon, I removed a part of my own body, of my skin, to feed grasshoppers. I managed to feed 2 cycles of grasshoppers, and then I pack them in small, let's say, packages to give to the people as food.